RPGs may hold my heart, but fighting games will always have my soul. Nothing matches the thrill of facing down your opponents as you listen to the rhythmic tapping of the buttons or the first time you land a chain super on an unsuspecting foe. The fighting game scene is also one of the most respectable ones around, with players often shaking hands, offering tips, or just nodding in agreement to a move their opponent pulled off. When it comes to fighting games, however, nothing matches the pure spectacle and hype of a Street Fighter title. I was holding off as long as I could before buying their latest game, Street Fighter V, mostly due to not playing another one since Street Fighter IV, but also because Capcom didn't really give us anything at launch. When Street Fighter V came out, it didn't have an arcade mode, a real story mode, or anything even close to just versus CPU. Capcom did admit that they made a mistake and have been doing their best to remedy that situation. In one of their latest releases, they added the A Shadow Falls storyline, which enticed me to pick up the game and give it a try. As I fired it up for the first time, an honestly insulting tutorial appeared showing me how to move forward or backward. Punch, kick, special move. Get this out of here. So with almost every Street Fighter since number 2, a brand new mechanic was added and looked quite enticing. If only I had read it before jumping into what I thought was the campaign. To my slight dismay, this is not the Shadow Falls DLC, but rather some slipshod type of filler content. I of course picked my boy Ryu and went on a journey to kick some ass. Oh, it's over. 3 fights, game over, I win. Unsatisfied in my first 10 minutes of the game, I decided to do some casual matches and see where I stacked up against some others who I assumed were at my level. Fighting games are the only games I like losing. It's a weird thing to say, but when I lose in a fighting game, I actually learn something every time, like a new way to combo, a new way to counter, a new way to move that I didn't know before. And as I continue to lose matches, I actually feel progress. And it's a weird thing because in most games, if you lose, it's game over, but in a fighting game, if a guy beats you and he wants a rematch, you go for it. You can fight him until he gives up or he's tired of beating your ass, and by the end of my first hour, I think all these guys were tired of kicking my ass. After getting my ass kicked harder than I had in a long time, I went back and downloaded the DLC correctly and began my adventure. It started rather oddly.
Devour.
I mean, what is this sheep? I swear I played every other game in this series, and I don't remember anything like this. Oh, it's a guy. That's more like Street Fighter. As the story continued to unfold, the game put me in lots of different situations where I was forced to learn each and every character on the fly. The AI wasn't exactly challenging, however, but it did feel nice seeing how each character played. One that I particularly liked was Zombie Charlie. After meeting his demise at Bison's hands in a mission gone awry, Charlie Nash returned with vengeance on his mind. He isn't a newcomer, but the way he performs now is a lot better than his semi-clone days of Gaia. In fact, I think at the moment he's actually top tier in the tournaments. I could be wrong though. The story itself isn't anything to write home about. There are plenty of cliches and extremely odd pacing, but for what it is, it's at least engaging. Most fighting games don't really make an effort to do anything beyond an arcade mode, but Capcom decided to push themselves and really go after what the fans have been clamoring for. All in all, the story by itself would have bored me to pieces, but the fighting within kept me active. As I kept playing, I could feel my skills increase more and more as that old arcade feeling came back. I felt so damn good, I wanted to try my mettle against the most dangerous prey. As I reached my final hour, I finally felt my muscle memory was kicking back in, and the controller was finally bending to my will. As I faced down opponent after opponent online, I became more sure that I could become as good, if not better, as I used to be in this latest iteration. One thing that really stuck out to me during my game time, though, was the sheer diversity in the cast of characters. Most games talk big and say how they have the most original cast or the most diversified or the most accepting cast, but Street Fighter's been doing this for years. The characters all reign from around the world. I mean, you've got Cammy from the UK, Vega from Spain, Ken from the USA, and newcomer Rashid hailing from the Middle East. And there's a whole slew of other characters with different pasts, nationalities, genders, and gender preferences. What we take from it, no matter how they look or what they're about, they're just here to kick some ass. In fact, of any genre, fighting games seem to exceed the boundaries that most games impose. Sure, sometimes they get skimpy outfits or extremely brutal imagery, but at the end of the day, when you watch two pros beating up on each other, the only feeling they have is respect for each other and the characters they chose. Street Fighter V may not be the dream fighter that everyone expected, but Capcom is actively working on it, and from what I've played, it definitely hits the points that a lot of games have lacked. I can understand what the pros say about it, however from my point of view, it continues the evolution of this legendary franchise. Even after my final hour ended, I pushed through more online matches and headed back to a Shadow Falls to continuously improve. It was bittersweet when I finally put the controller down, but I know whenever I need to lay the smackdown on somebody, Ryu's only a few clicks away. Thanks for watching this week's First View. Also, thanks for all the support so far with our channel, and as we continue to grow, we'll be sure to keep improving. If you're new here, why not hit the subscribe button to catch Super Sunday and other awesome videos. See you guys next time.